doing drag creates another level of, another relationship with, a deeper relationship with your body. There's more communication, there's more consciousness than what your eyes can see. And you are able to see that through your intuition, your gut, so to speak, your feeling. I think what we're talking about here is really vision. What do you see? What can you see? What do you allow yourself to see? What are you not seeing? And we've all been in situations, I know I have, where the answer was so obviously right there in front of my face. And I couldn't see it for whatever reason. Maybe I didn't want to see it. It's interesting to ask yourself, what do you not want to see? When I was 5, my mother poured gasoline all over my father's car. They were fighting all the time. She poured gasoline. It was parked in the garage of our family home, and the garage is attached to the family home. She had poured gasoline all over my father's car, and she was on one side of the car with a book of matches, and my father was on the other side. And my father is saying, Tony, my mother's name was Tony, don't, please, don't. She says, MF, I will light this MF up, MF, I will light this B up. And the whole neighborhood everybody's across the street watching. The fire trucks come. Sister Harris from the church, she had come and she talked my mother out of it, and my mother put the matches down. My sisters and I are across the street watching this scene. Now, when I remember it back in my mind, I remember it as if I'm a camera, where I'm watching my sisters and I outside of my body, watching the scene like a camera. It wasn't until I got sober that I realized I didn't remember ever getting back into my emotions. I didn't remember ever going back inside. The trauma of that emotionally, it could kill someone. So when you talk about shame, you talk about the trauma of childhood and things, you have to learn the processing tools to process those emotions. And that's why the relationship between you and your inner child is so important, because your inner child is looking to you to set it straight, and the kid knows you. You cannot lie to this kid, this inner child. It knows all of your lies. You have to be sincere, and you have to tell the truth. And you have to say, look, I'm here for you now, and I'm never gonna leave you. I mean that. I'm never gonna leave you like they did. It's up to you, kiddo. You're on your own. So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves. My parents divorced when I was 7, so I would get picked up by my father on weekends. And I would wait on the front porch for him to pick me up. And he would never show up. Would never show up. So in therapy, all roads led directly to that moment. And what I've learned from my experience with my father, and I think a lot of you can relate to this, is that he wasn't present enough to see what an incredible opportunity there was waiting for him on that porch. That was his choice. And I can only guess that it would have been too much for him to be present for his own life. It would have been too much for him to accept the amount of love I had for him. He was a alcoholic, compulsive gambler. He was doing everything he could to not be present for that moment. And I was acknowledging this present moment. I've had my own struggles with not wanting to be here right now. In fact, my thinking was, this is all too much for me. I'm just gonna tune out until it's over. Just wake me when it's done. Until I realized, I wanna be present for my life. And this is where your power is. This is where the healing is. This is where the healing of trauma. Because when I think about the trauma of back then, waiting on that porch for my father to show up and he never came, that's an old wound that happened in the past. It's not happening right now. And I have to take my child in my arms and say, baby, listen to me. That had nothing to do with you. He was a fool. He would have had so much more fun with you. He would have had so much more fun with you. That's him. Now, what are we gonna do to repair your heart right now? What we're gonna do is we're gonna have you treat yourself with all the love and kindness that you wanted him to treat you with. You're not gonna repeat his mistakes. That's how you repair it. And you repair that here and now. You don't revisit the past to just, to collect some evidence and to see what was really happening, you know. Actually, I feel sorry for him because he missed out. And it forced me to understand my own value, not through someone else, but for myself, which is the most valuable thing you can do, is to understand your own value. Because when I really looked at it with adult eyes, with clear eyes, I was able to see that it wasn't personal. It was not personal. Now, my sweet, gorgeous little heart was broken, and it was personal to me because I thought, who is better than being with me? And it's an interesting question just because I have relived that sitting on the front porch scenario with other people, other relationships, where that's the tender spot where it kept coming up. But it was important for me to see it with clear eyes. Self-recognition is a process I've been in my whole life. But the real work really happened when I was able to get sober 20 years ago. I was up for a role in a movie and working with an acting coach. And I said to the acting coach, I feel like I can't get in touch with my emotions. I can't connect with my emotions with what's written on this page. She said, well, why don't you go and see this therapist that I know? I went to the therapist who I've been with for 20 years. And she said, you know, when you come in here stoned, I get about 60% of your energy force. Your 40% is diminished of your energy force, and I only get 60. And that clicked in me. And about 6 months later, I stopped using everything. And I found some people I found some people who showed me how to live sober. I found some people who showed me how to live sober. And I began the process of learning to process my emotions and to be inside my body and let them flow through me. They are your gift to this world. Do not be ashamed of them. As a kid, I had no choice but to shut it off, to cut the valve off because it would have killed me. As an adult, allow it to come up and have compassion for that child and for the parts of you that didn't know what to do with those feelings. So it's been through sobriety, and it's not for everyone. It's been very difficult because I was immediately faced with all of the things I was running away from, everything. And one by one, I've been able to come to peace, make peace with that, and process it, and go, that belongs here. This is not yours. This is yours. Take it and hold it close to your heart.